So we made it to final assembly on our 69 Firebird project, and although it's kind of the home stretch, it's still a ton of work. The first part was to assemble all the pieces of the functional ram air hood components, like the vacuum actuated air flapper doors and the ram air pan attached to the hood, and then the reproduction foam seal on the lower pan over the throttle body. Our large diameter bare rotors required the use of special flush mounted valve stems in our Boyd's Junkyard Dog wheels so that the caliper would clear without hitting the stem. We had the wheels powder coated by Extreme Powdercoating to make the centers match some of the charcoal elements on the rest of the car. Next, the crew carefully installed the mounting hardware for the reproduction Trans Am rear wing, and then installed all of the reproduction Pontiac badges that came on a brand new Trans Am. These pieces all came from Classic Industries and were very carefully installed so that the newly painted car would not get chipped or scratched or dinged or damaged in any way during assembly. Nathan used the front of the Firebird to start assembling the nose pieces in kind of a mock-up fashion, because to fully assemble these properly, the whole assembly will have to be removed from the car to make it easier to put in items like the headlight buckets and some of the trim pieces and grills, but that'll come after the initial assembly happens here. Nathan carefully machined a slight step into some hex head hardware so that these bolts would fit tighter against the fender under the hood. Note the unmodified bolt in the front as opposed to the flush one in the rear. Next came the hood latch and some of the other closeout panels on top of the core support, and then the crew took the time to pre-wire some of the turn signals and headlights so they wouldn't have to reach behind that bumper assembly. And then they put the rest of the details together on the whole nose assembly while it was on a stand. The Classic Industries catalog was a great source for shiny new headlight bezels and the grille assemblies. And the crew then carefully placed the whole grille and bumper assembly on the car, noting that the perimeter is actually rubber on this car, so they didn't have to worry too much about scratching it, but they still had to be careful. Next, the crew turned their attention to the inside of the car and installed all of the new reproduction weather stripping, and items like the shifter went back in and attached to the transmission, the console was restored, and the original shift ball was reinstalled. All the OER brand restoration interior pieces really made this car look brand new inside, as everything fit the way it should, and the result is a show quality interior. Once all the pieces were assembled, again the car was treated to another polish job, this time with a foam pad and 3M Perfect-It ultrafine machine polish to make sure these panels were as flat, smooth, and reflective as they could possibly be. The car got a bath to make sure there was no trace elements of compound left anywhere on it, and then it was hand glazed. This time every panel carefully rubbed by hand and the underhood areas detailed with microfiber cloths to make sure that it was completely spotless with no dirt, grime, or microscopic scratches so that it had a perfect reflection. And then the car was finished. But how did it look? Well, we'll show you that next time in the final feature video.